Scrum Masters are in teams to create an efficient environment for work to take place. So there are roles within the team. There's a Scrum Master, there's a Product Owner, and there's a development team. But by default, the Scrum Master isn't part of the development team. And this video is about why that might be a good or a bad thing. Scrum teams should be self-organizing in order to get their work done. But inevitably, there will be pressures from the business and the development side, which might be conflicting in some sense. And a Scrum Master can act as kind of a referee and address distractions, disruptions, and obstacles. And this leaves the development team free to produce quality output. This means that the Scrum Master role is extremely important in making the team autonomous and leaving them the space to deliver a great product. Since the Scrum Master has such an important role within the team and within the business in getting software development teams to work in an efficient way, their position within that team to enable them to do the job of removing roadblocks is essential. There are a number of ways of doing that. So which might be the best way and what are they? Let's take a look. One position that a Scrum Master might fulfill in a team is Scrum Master and Developer. Now it's clear that in smaller companies, you might not want to have an extra head who isn't developing. So the Scrum Master being both the developer and the Scrum Master could make sense in this context. Being a developer also gives a Scrum Master insight into the detail of what's going on, because of course they need to understand the abstraction of the level of developing while also fulfilling the Scrum Master role and being the sort of referee of the process. However, if the Scrum Master is also a developer, they might lack that objectivity. Because they are performing the role of the developer, they're more likely to see the process in terms of a developer. And this could be damaging. So there's arguments for and against the Scrum Master being a developer. So it's possible a smaller company has decided that the Scrum Master should be a developer due to cost and headcount reasons. One way to make sure that they're not too single-minded is to make the role rotating throughout the team rather than having a single developer fulfilling that role. This means that the whole team's getting experience of that role and removing the roadblocks, but one person's not too embedded and set in their ways while doing it. It can have real advantages. However, it will still lack the advantages of having a person permanently in that role who are away from being a developer. So let's look at that. I think it's most beneficial for a Scrum Master to be part of the Scrum team, but not be a developer. But it's understandable, some companies may not be able to make this happen for cost reasons. So an alternative might be a single Scrum Master across several Scrum teams. There may be a problem here that too much work goes through one person and too much responsibility, because effectively they need to remove the roadblocks from all the teams. However, they're also in a good place to prioritize work across those teams if there are resources that are constrained across the teams. For example, if there aren't enough designers which need to be shared across the teams. So then the Scrum Master across those teams could deal with that situation rather than having to have another solution like Scrum of Scrums. The thing is, the correct solution really depends upon context. I do think that usually it is better to have an independent Scrum Master, but that might not always be possible. The Scrum Master role is a tricky one in itself, and the Scrum Master needs to be empowered as best an organisation can to remove roadblocks. How that Scrum Master role actually surfaces will depend upon the context. And I think there's no doubt in my mind that a independent Scrum Master who isn't part of the development team is the ideal situation. However, there are other alternatives which are worth being looked into, as well as this understanding that the Scrum Master is a different role from the project manager and therefore needs to be treated slightly differently within the organisation. Anyway, hope this video has been of help to you, and maybe see you next time.